I'd like to talk today about drop back pass from stacks and bunches, and this is around the Shanahan tree. So this is about an 80 or so game cut up. These are all being pulled from the most of the 20 and 21 season, and this will be Rams, Niners, mostly with a little bit of Green Bay and possibly the Titans. So it's pretty dense, so I want to start right away with it. Kind of talk about the format and how this goes. And I'm going to talk pieces of stacks, right? So like how I view the passing game is very split field ish. So you have a side, and you have another side. So I'm gonna try to break it up into sides as much as possible. So just going through this very first one is just and it's a good point here is I'm not a McVay Shanahan cover band. Okay, so like the names are my own, the teaching is my own, um, based off what I see off film, based off what I think is the best way of teaching these things, and I'll try to highlight the differences between what I know they're doing and what I'm talking about. So the very first two-man tag we're talking about is just Chug. Okay, and Chug to me is a choice and a go. Now, once you get stacked, that go becomes a corner route, okay, because you're trying to get to the same landmark that the go would get to. It's a very common tag. Obviously, Cooper Kupp has made this very popular, but you could use it a ton of different ways. So just going over like the base format I'm going to use for this whole thing is kind of up top looking, right? So what is Chug, right? Chug is just it's a choice concept, okay? And what kind of flank is it? It's only run to a two-man flank, right? So you have different flank options. You can go trips, like X games with the back, two-man, all sorts of things like that. This timing is for the quarterback perspective. What side is this, right? Is this a first look side or is it like a scan back to second look side, right? So this is obviously your first look side. So this timing will be first. What is the attack of this tag, right? So this is an isolation tag. You can have curl flats, hook curls, deep floods, man picks. Like there's all sorts of different attacks. Okay, this one is obviously just a straight isolation tag. Okay, and this yards per play, we can see that this when this was thrown, okay, so nothing backside. When this two-man concept was thrown, it averaged 7.8 yards per play. Okay, and these second numbers is how many times it was total called in my cutups. So this two-man tag was called 151 times total. It was thrown 91 times. So that means the other 60 times something else was thrown or was a sack or scramble or something like that. I think these numbers are important because you start to see there's a lot of tags that are called that just aren't thrown, right? And so you have to start evaluating like, why are we calling this? Is it getting what we want out of it? This efficiency number is kind of like my own formula. It's yards per play times like an EPA type thing. I'm very open. If anybody has a better way of measuring efficiency, please let me know. I think like the 4 yards per play thing is outdated because if you're averaging 4 yards per play, you're dead last in the country in a lot of stats. I don't like the getting 5 yards on the first down and converting on a second down because like if I'm calling this on 2nd and 2 and I get 3 yards, that's not an efficient play to me, right? I'm not calling this play to get 3 yards. So that's what kind of all these top rows are about. Okay, and we'll go over all these as we keep going. This top right is on these 91 throws. Where was the ball targeted? So we can see like this is a crazy distribution of the choice runner getting targeted 89 times of the 91 times this was thrown. Okay, and the go here being the corner was thrown 2 times. Something else, these numbers are not necessarily purely from stack. Okay, these numbers will be every time Chug was called. So it could be just a normal two-man flank, twins flank with a go and a choice. It could be running back, back. It could be this is any time Chug was called, okay, not necessarily just stack. But you can see here, right? If this is getting called, if Chug is getting called on 151 attempts, the choice was targeted 89 times, no matter what was back on the three-man side. The final portion here, and this is purely subjective, this is how I see it. These numbers are 1 through 5, how good this play is, how good this tag is against each coverage, right? So real quick, running through the coverages. 1 to me is 5-man pressure. Cover one rat is obviously some sort of hole element. It could be like a lurking safety, or it could be a linebacker. Okay, so it's a four-man rush with a rat or a hole player. Two is obviously spot drop two. These are all spot drop coverages, basically. So two spot drop two, three spot drop three fire zones, bringing five, three deep, three under. Quarters is quarters. Five to me, like I'm getting kind of Sabanish here. Five is man match halves. So they're running with the 2 and 3 players, right? They're wicking wall inside carry. That's how I'm calling that. 5 man's, 2 man, 6 to me for this purpose is Ripley's match in 2x2. So this is man match 3. So Ripley's match in 2x2, and then like the skinny variation in 3x1. 7 being man match quarters. A 2-man flank, I'm calling that bracket, and a 3-man flank, I'm calling that stubby, right? I understand there's 96 different versions of man match quarters, but that's how I'm breaking it down for simplicity. And then 8 will only apply to full field concepts because that's quarter halves, with the halves going away from the nickel. Last portion I'll talk about before I actually get to the play is all of these drawings are on a college field, so the hashes are obviously wider and all that kind of stuff. Most of the film is on an NFL field, so I'll try to talk about the different landmarks as I go. All right, so actually talking about the play, chug, right? Choice and a go. So let's say we're in normal splits. We have a go route, the clear out, and then you have the choice runner. As soon as he becomes stack, the choice runner becomes the off the ball player, right? The stack adjustment here is the choice is the off the ball player. And instead of a go, to get to that normal landmark you need in the go, the point guy is running a corner. Corner is I would teach exactly how you teach a normal corner. For us, it was always 12 yards, take your foot in the ground, run out of bounds at 25 yards. Like I said, it's not super important here because the ball is more than likely not going there. The big teaching here becomes the choice runner, okay? And this will show up in a couple different plays. So once you get good at it, you can keep using it in different variations. So the choice runner here, we're going to outside stem. We're going to miss the snap by half a second, right? So delay to let the corner out in front of you. You're going to delay. You're going to outside stem to stay in this to stay in this corner's outside hip. And then at 5 yards, this is where I'm a little different, right? At 5 yards, I am trying to run the slant. So the slant is the priority here. The slant is the explosive. The slant, like the yards per play, is much higher on the slant, obviously. So how I term anytime you have multiple choices on a play is like we use unless teaching. So I want you to do something unless, right? So on a choice route, I want you to run a slant unless that is crowded. Okay, then run the out. That's how you teach it. Run the slant unless, right? So we want them in the thought process coming off the ball to think I'm slant. I'm getting up to my 5 yard landmark. I'm trying to run the slant. The slant's crowded. I'm now running the 5 yard out. The caveat here, if both are covered, if I come up, I'm running a slant, no, out, no, then I can just sit right there in the right there in the little pocket. Okay. So slant unless, out unless, if both are covered, then just sit at 5 yards. Look at these coverages real quick. What do we really like this against? Okay, so this play is really good against certain things. It's not very good against others, obviously. Love it against one. Let me talk about these grades real quick. I forgot to. So 1 through 5 is the grades. 1 through 5 is the grades on the right-hand side. So talking here. I should have covered that earlier, but it's fine. 1 being premier. So 1 is double posts into quarters. It is a flood into cover 3. It's a man pick against the perfect man look, okay? So that's your premier look. A 2 is like a 10 to 12 yard gain expected, right? So curl flag against 3. Here, I really like the choice route against man coverage with no rat, that kind of thing. A 3 is like we're neutral, right? So think of a curl against press man, right? My corner's no better than, or my receiver's no better than your corner, and vice versa. There's no huge leverage discrepancies. A 3 is we are neutral, right? If we play this play 10 times, you win 5 and I win 5 type thing. A 4 is bad leverage. Think curl flat into cover 2, right? The play is not totally dead depending on how you teach it, but we don't like it, right? We are in a bad spot. It'd be a 2 yard average when we do that. We can survive the down. Okay, we can survive the down, but we're not super excited about that play call. A 5 is heinous. A 5 is slants into cover 3, double slants into cover 3, that type of world where we have no shot, right? There's no way we can get around it. No shot there. So how I did this is I broke up these 90 or these 151 reps of chug, and I broke it up into coverages. Okay, and I watched all the reps against 1, all the reps against rat, all the reps against 4, right? And that's how I kind of got these grades. So going down the right-hand side, all right, we really like this against 1, right? You get the 1-on-1 matchup with no hole player. It's beautiful. That's what you want. It's our best player if we game plan it correctly against a nickel or whoever in off coverage, right? Which is the reason we're doing these stacks, is to break brackets, to get off coverage, that kind of thing. It's bad against rat because now that guy can play outside leverage, right, and funnel you right into the rat. The 2-1, right? So cover 2. So like to think of this, very zonish, right? You basically have one guy who's hitting all 3 zones. He's hitting the flat, he can hit the curl if he sits, and he also can hit the hook, right? So defensively, you're not going to get 3 over there, but you can get 2. You can get 2 underneath guys to take this guy away, right? So you can go, obviously, cloud, you're getting a flat guy, some sort of hook guy, right? Leaving the curl to make you throw the curl and get catch and tackle for 5. Same thing with like cover 3, right? If this guy expands, the flat defender expands, you get this hook guy, you'll still give up that curl window, okay? But the thing about 2 is that I have one clip on here is this could go up to like a 2 if you feel good about the quarterback seeing it and throwing the cover 2 hole shot. Okay, so there's a rep against Stafford doing it against the Texans, I believe, on here. But like I just don't feel super confident about the quarterback seeing it and hitting it in time. So that's, to me, if I get cover 2, I don't like this play because he's gonna have to sit in between both of them, and it's gonna be a catch and tackle for 4 yards or whatever. Not terrible, but 4 yards is not what we're looking for, right? In the year of 2023 football. Same thing with 3. He's gonna end up getting viced by the flat player and the hook player. Same concept, right? You're getting 2 underneath players on this one route. 3 fire zone, it's the same thing as 1, really. You're able to clear out because you're doing a 3-man tag over here of some sorts. You're able to clear out the 3 player, and you're getting 1-on-1 with the 2 player. Quarters, it could be super explosive. This one depends on the matchup. I think it's a good way to take it away defensively as well. If you don't want to commit 2 underneath players, if you feel good about your nickel, staying inside out and forcing the out throw, right? I think it's a catch and tackle for 5. The issue is if you drain, same thing with 3 fire zone, you drain the 3 player to this side, and he's able to win on the slant, which is the goal here offensively, then it's a catch and it's a big run, right? Because you drain the safeties and some sort of quarters type look. Going through here, obviously cloud, man match halves, not good. 2-man, not good based off, you should be inside leverage a lot of times. This being essentially 1 rat, right? 3 match, Ripley stuff being 1 rat, gonna play at the same, right? You're gonna get this extra hole guy over there. And then brackets and stuff, being okay, right? Same thing. If you're able to win inside, great. If not, you're forcing this long outside throw is probably not what you want. So to go through the film and how this thing is broken up is I try to, when I have enough plays, go straight down the list so we can kind of see how this thing's playing out against all those coverages. So first thing we're seeing against cover 1, we're looking up top to the stack side. Don't worry about what's happening down here. I'll cover these tags later. We're getting pressure 1. This is premier, right? You see him miss the snap count. That's what you want. When we say miss the snap count, let this guy clear out in front of you. You got to ride his outside hip and try to make the decision at 5 yards. Okay, obviously this guy's preventing it. Try to make the decision at 5 yards. We want to run the slant. Slant unless. Slant unless is the thinking. So QB, easy, 3-step drop. I'm going chug, the choice side. I'm going choice route to whatever the backside scan tag is, okay? Like I said, don't worry about this side later. We'll talk about all the different options you have to scan back into, timing-wise. But up top's always your first look. So if you see if we have a better ball here, it's even more explosive. But this is what you want against, 1 pressure. Same thing, looking down here, looking at this one rat variation. Here's why you don't like it against one rat or cover 6 being Ripley's match. Is you get the slant one, but here's the issue: is the whole player. All right, same thing. You see Cup missed the snap count, outside stem, stay on the outside hip, put the corner out, or on the slant unless, okay? Receiver, don't worry about the whole player in your, like, that's not gonna be in your vision, right? You're not gonna be able to see that realistically. You're winning off this player, you're running the slant unless he takes away, then run the out. He doesn't take away to run the slant. We want to run the slant. The issue is just gonna be the whole player, right? And that's why this plays a 4 against a 1 rat type stuff. So here's your first look against the zone off. Here's 2 Tampa. Good job. Outside stemming. This stack in the NFL. So the stack in the NFL generally being the divide, being between the numbers and the hash. In college, that relates to being on the hash. So if you're in college or Texas, playing on the same field, Texas high school, you want to put this stack on the hash. Okay. Good job by Cup. See him miss the snap count. We're outside releasing to get in the outside hip of the corner runner. I'm running a slant. Can I run a slant? No. I'm running the out. Can I run the out? No. Okay, now let's just sit right at that 5-yard window. And you can see here, it's a good way defensively to take it away. Offensively, if you feel good about that hole shot, that honey hole shot, you can take it. We just were never good at UNC at really being able to see that thing. I think it's kind of hard to see in time. And so that's covered. So you end up coming back down to whatever 3-man scan you have down here. But you can see the Cup decision, right? Slant no, flat, or slant no, out no, stay at 5. And that's how I would talk about it. I like that better than talking about making a 3-way decision, all that kind of stuff. I like using the words unless, run a slant unless, run a out unless, right? It gets them kind of the progression of how we want to think about this thing. Here's the whole shot. This is a fantastic rep here of seeing against cover 2. Same rep from Cup. Outside stem, slant no, out no. Got to sit it down. And then here's your 12 yards, run out of bounds at 25-yard corner. Still a tight throw, especially to the field, man. That corner is able to play both of them to the field. We'll see a pick later. I don't love flat high lows to the field, especially in college where that hash is much wider. If you're in the NFL and you got Stafford throwing it, you probably feel a little bit better about it. But defensively, I think 2 is a good call against this stuff. Obviously, you put 2 flat guy or 2 underneath droppers on the choice. You feel good. Same thing. You're getting 2 underneath droppers on the choice here. Slant no. Right, I got a hook guy coming out to me. Slant no, flat no, sit. And offensively, like this, you could feel okay about this. You could say, you know what, to me, that's a 3, right? In the grading system. I kind of like that. That's a 3. I'll take my 5, move on. To me, like throwing the football for 5 yards just doesn't get me super excited, especially as like you have to teach this thing and rep it a ton. It's not awful, but if you're averaging 5 yards a pass, you'll be dead last by quite a way. So I'm not super excited about this. I'm not like canceling the play if I have to do this, but I'm not, banging the table to run this play if I'm getting a lot of 3 or cover 2. You can survive the down, but not fantastic. So here's a look at it empty with the back running it. The thought process is still the same because he's inside the corner runner, right? He now has to outside stem to get to the same location, right? We're trying to get to the outside hip of the corner runner. Because he is inside and he has to stem, you don't want to miss a snap count now, right? And we'll see this in the bunch choice in a little bit. If you're already outside of it, then you can delay half a second and then go. Once you're inside of it, there is no more delay because you have to catch back up. And he's now making the same exact decision that Cup is running, right? Same thing. You see Jimmy G doesn't like it, and he comes to the scan, which we will discuss this in a little bit. But same thing, right? You're putting a guy inside and outside the choice runner. Um, I'm not worried about this route at all. Obviously, the corner. Right, I feel good there. It's gonna be a catch and tackle. I feel good defensively, I should say. It's gonna be a catch and tackle for 4 or 5 yards. Right, if you can force the offense to go down the field 4 or 5 yards at a time, you'll win a lot of games. So here's a look at the obvious out cut. Right, can I run a slant? No, I'm running a slant unless it's crowded and then run the out. This is where I think defensively, if you don't want to put two underneath droppers on it and you want to play quarters, I think this is a good way to do it. Is just stick that two-player way inside of them and make him run the out. Like that, that's a long throw and catch for a 5 yard gain, 6 yard gain. Not terrible offensively, but not exactly what you want, right? You're trying to win the slant. You see, if you're able to win on the slant, there's nothing back underneath it. Another look at the outbreak here. Pretty obvious one. Nickel's way inside. Can't run the slant, so I'm running the out route. So just one look at it out of the backfield. So you're kind of creating a stack here with a tight split X. Same thought process though. Outside stem. Now from a running back perspective, it's going to be harder to get all the way to 5 yards because if you're already 5, 6 yards deep in the backfield, but you're telling them 5 and understanding that he's the outside stem, ride the outside hip, and then he's probably only getting to 2 or 3 yards. Ran a lot of this type of stuff at UNC, okay, with the back. And if he ever got to 2 yards, we're pretty happy. So here he's getting 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. That's probably where he'll be at. But you're getting to this, you're trying to get to the same relationship you would be. Really like it here, right? From like a stem corner position to try to get just an extra rub. You really would love him to play over the top of it, and then you run the slant back underneath. Really like it from the backfield when they're doing some sort of flood coverage. Okay, this is 4 poach. It could be like the 3 flood stuff. Anytime they're sending bodies this way, right? If they like weak rotate, anytime they're sending bodies this way, you love the one-on-one matchup backside. The same process, right? Like we want the slant. The slant is much more explosive. We will take the out. We will take the sit, but the slant is what we're searching for here. So cover 3 match, right? They stay matched on it down here, which I prefer, right? So that the point of stacks offensively is to do what? Is to back people off, right? Either in press to back them off or to very literally get them out of the match stuff, right? To back them off and get them more into zone concepts. They stay matched, which I think is a good decision, right? If you can stay matched, you want to stay matched, especially because there's not like huge pick games from these guys at like these 2-man stacks. So I'd feel okay about staying matched. You can see the issue here offensively, right? Is the whole player. This is just a fantastic job of working the second window behind the whole player. Like this is T-shape stuff. This is not something I would depend on. Like I'm not excited about game playing this against this coverage. This is a great job of playing football on the field and then hitting this thing behind the whole player on the slant. This is a great rep of making the play. We did not put you in a fantastic position as a play caller. Okay, but this is a great job of making us right. Right. And that's why they get paid a lot of money sometimes. See cup outside stem, try to get to 5 yards. The guy's not letting you get to 5, but you're gonna tell him to push it to 5. I'm running the slant unless he takes it away. He doesn't take it away. Beautiful. Find the second hole behind the whole player. All right, so talking about Butcher being bunch choice for me. Ran a lot of stuff at UNC. It's the exact same teaching between these 2 players, the choice in the corner, but now you're just trying to get the mic out of there with the shallow route from the outside guy. At UNC, we always ran it with the choice runner being number 3. Most of these are the Rams cut ups, okay, and they'll have Cup here running the choice, but most of them are with the choice being from number one in the bunch. So you just switch one and three. Three would then run the shallow, one running the choice. The shallow, I would teach it however you teach your shallows currently. The big objective here is any sort of like split field coverage. You want to make sure to go at the mic and grab him and run underneath, right? So I've heard it called like a grab shallow, an at and under shallow, that kind of thing. For me, there's no real big reason of changing how we run the shallows already. We're building to a depth of 3 to 4 yards and then running across the field. You can sit outside the backside tackle. But if you ran more of the air raid shallow of like going through the defensive end heels, I would try to deepen that up to make sure you grab the mic, depending on who runs it. Looking at the stats, right? It's back to the ISO. We only run this from trips. Obviously, it could be if you want to get fancy with it, you could do it with the back, like a tight stack. Ignore him, and then have the back be the choice runner. That's something you could do. This is a first look side. Obviously, it's an ISO attack. The yards per play was lower than I would have expected it to be at 4.4. This was called 15 times. On those 15 attempts, it was thrown 13 times with actually like a pretty nice little distribution of how it got there. Okay. Very similar game plan process, right? We like it against one, we don't like against rat. It's gonna be all kind of the same stuff. The difference here against quarters, you start to really like it, okay? Because you're getting the box check. Right, the box check to me is the equivalent of a defensive coordinator going 5 down up front and getting, the 5-0 man check, right? Everybody's searching that up defensively. If you show box on film, right, heaven forbid you actually show like a nickel giving the box signal to somebody, right? Those people just salivate, right? And you'll have 19 different box beaters that week. This one being a really good one, okay? Because now you grab the mic's out of there, and then you obviously you're gonna double team the corner, talking about box, and now you have the one-on-one against the nickel who's outside leverage, right? And the whole point of this is trying to throw the slant. So, long way to say, quarters, it's awesome, and then you can see everything else here. Two-man, you actually able to clear everybody out. You could get inside leverage on that thing, and then 7 because you end up getting back into the box check a lot of times. So. These guys did throw, so they didn't run a corner. I would like to know why. Sometimes they ran the corner, like the normal 25-yard corner, and other times they just ran the two fade. And he would throw that. He threw it twice, the two fade against man. He threw it obviously here. He likes his matchup, plays over, and then he threw it against Seattle to Deshaun Jackson once. Stafford did. But you can see just how much we like this play against one pressure or one without a rat. You drain everybody out. The teaching's the same from here, right? You go to outside stem to get in the outside hip or the corner or the fade runner. Then at 5 yards, you're running the slant unless. So that's all the same. Now you just have the shallow runner to drain any inside piece with different backside tags that the ball never got back to, so it doesn't particularly matter. Even at UNC, when we ran it, the ball hardly ever got backside. Curl flat, they were running a comeback here. It doesn't really matter because the ball is staying front side. All right, should be back. Let me just make sure.